What's going on, people? Again, it's your boy. You know what it is, man. Trouble T Roy, aka the Sneaker Pest Control Man, aka Mr. Controversy, back with part 3 of this series that we're doing, the dark, ugly truth about UA sneakers. And something that I just wanted to bring to you today. I talked about it and touched on it a little bit in the last video. But this video, we're specifically talking about early release pair. Yes, I've discussed this a little while ago. And it was a bit in detail too. Like, it wasn't just like a touch and glaze over and hit certain points and topics. But I'm going to bring this back because it started to kind of jump out there again. And it's starting to become a thing again. And I feel like I need to be active again out here in these sneaker streets. You dig what I'm saying? That I want to be the most truthful and bring y'all the most information, the insight, like a lot of insight and inside information that a lot of these sneaker apps and resellers, they don't want you to know. Like, I'm going to tell you the truth. Now, some of the stuff that I say, you may not agree with. Even some of my counterparts that I'm super cool with don't necessarily agree with some of the things that I say, or even like what I do in business, they may not care for particularly. Not that it's no integrity in what I do. I'm not saying that. I do everything in excellence and integrity. Just because my name is on it. And again, having a valuable name is more important than money. It's more important than any kind of wealth you can have, because that valuable name is what gets you that bread, is what gets you those opportunities, is what gets you those resources and relationships and connections and so on and yada yada. Y'all get what I'm saying? So I don't mean to get preachy on you per se, or motivational speaker-ish on you per se, but you get what I'm saying. My point is, like, even some of my colleagues and friends, with this whole sneaker thing, they may have different views, but we all respect each other's views, and we don't come down or shun each other for what we may believe in and what we're doing in this whole sneaker thing. So pretty much we want to talk about early release pairs to get back on topic. How is it possible? In the last video, I gave an example to say, like, say if you wanted to go, you got a shoe off the sneakers app and you wanted to flip it with one of these resale boutiques or whatever the case may be, and how it wouldn't make sense if they're using their relationships to get the shoe for $100 a pair, and yet you see it's reselling for $4, so you're planning on flipping to get a 150 bucks, so you want to sell it to them for like 350 or 300, and they choose not to buy it. But you notice that they have an overstock of that shoe already, and it's the same day that it released, and you're like, wait a minute, how did they, if they're not authorized with the brand, how are they able to release this many pairs on this day? So, or more importantly, because it's the topic of this video, how are they able to have sneakers early and they didn't drop on the apps yet, they didn't drop in any retailers yet? How? Like, how do they have it? These don't come out for another month. These don't come out for another 3 weeks. How is the question? Well, because of what I've alluded to in that prior video, the relationships. Again, I'll use that terminology, but for those of you that's been in this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So those relationships are able to get them those shoes early. Now, let's talk about the brand side of this. Now, the brands do not release shoes early. Here's the disclaimer to that. If there is a shock drop, or they do like a sneak release, then the shoes are available early. I'll give you an example. For the past couple of years, every holiday, Christmas season, a different colorway of Jordan 11s are released, right? It's pretty typical for Nike to do a shock drop, the sneakers app to do a shock drop like a couple of weeks before the shoe is released. It's been happening the past couple of years, maybe even the past few years. It happened with those cherry red 11s. It happened with the 11s before that. They do it with some other shoes, maybe like some Dunks or something like that occasionally. And this is not even during the holiday season, but like during just a regular time in the year. Excuse me, if a shoe is about to drop, they'll sometimes do a shock drop, but it's not like months in advance. A lot of these resellers be having these shoes months in advance. Sometimes, like even with the shock drops, they don't even do them like months or even a month in advance. They do them typically a couple of weeks in advance. So it makes sense for somebody if you see a reseller and they have a couple of pair of shoes and Nike did a shock drop and they have them a couple of weeks before its release date. That I would say is pretty normal because Nike does that. Like they'll likely do it again this year, even though these defining moment package 11s are set to come out in December. They may do a sneak drop either early December or late November, typically a couple weeks prior to the release date. That's likely going to happen. They may even do it, which comes out this month, those cherry red 11s. They may do a shock drop. So you may start seeing them now. Like Nike may do a shock drop within, I'm just using this as an example, within the next few days because they come out late October. Typically within that, again, that 2-week range. But never like a month and a half, 2 months, 3 months. And you start seeing these shoes and people are selling stuff early, especially if it's super exclusive and it's stuff you know you're not going to be able to walk in store and get. You got to put your antennas up. Like, you got to be like, wait, how are they getting their shoes? Now, because they're business, I don't expect them to tell you how and where they're getting their shoes from. Like, let's be real. Like, if you're buying them from them in the sense of, like, just purchasing as a consumer, they're not going to tell you. Like, so you might as well not even waste your time asking. I'm telling you in the sense of you wanting to do this or get your own shoes without using them, or you want to start a business in doing this. This is the point of me telling you. Like, again, I can't wake everybody up. If people want to go through those means because they feel like they're more authentic or more real, and they want to go through those means and it makes them feel better paying $300, $250 more, sometimes depending on how high value the shoe is, $500, $600 more than what you can get the shoe for. Hey, more power to them. That's their business. I don't care what people do with their money. I'm only here for a specific audience that's trying to do this in the sense of it potentially being, like I say, a business or a side business for you. And I know my smoke detector's beeping. I got to get a battery. But yeah. So in essence, like early release pair. But keep in mind, the reason why I'm mentioning this to you is because they're so quick to be on your top or see people out here selling or getting the dope sneakers or the exclusive sneakers that you just can't get in retail stores like we used to be able to back in the day. And they got something to say like, oh, you got them. They fake. Like, if you got them, they not real. If you got them, they're UAs. If you got them, but wait, they got them early. So we can't say, well, if y'all got them, they got to be. If y'all got them months before the release date, then they must be. If you got them months before Nike, Adidas, or whatever brand allowed them to come out, then they must be. And then you hear crickets. So what it is, it's funny because the audacity for them to talk about something, somebody else or another group of people, but yet they out here doing early release pair that ain't nobody give you permission to release them early. Not the powers that be. Not the companies. They didn't give you permission to do that. So you're asking me or saying to me that, oh, yours must be, where I can say to you clearly, because you're in violation of doing something without the brand's permission, like an early release date. So I can say, oh, those have to come from. So like Martin said on one of the episodes, you know, I'm a super Martin fan, Dragonfly Jones, and I think we got Jerome over here behind me too. You know, Jerome's in the house. But like Martin said, even though the phrase is wrong, you can't be the kettle calling the pot and the pot calling the kettle. But the traditional phraseology is you can't be don't be the, I can't even remember my darn self. The pot calling the kettle black. There we go. Don't be the pot calling the kettle black when both of y'all is on fire and both of y'all bottoms are black. That's what it means. All right, y'all get me. All right, I know I jacked it up, kind of crazy right there, but still, y'all get what I'm saying. But yet, like I say, these are the quote unquote the authority. These people, this group of people, is the authority in this whole sneaker thing and this resale thing. They're the authority, but they're obviously in violation. And something that the brands don't do, they're doing it in front of your face, and the audacity for them to start judging what you have and how you get what you get and where you get what you get, where you get it from. But they don't address the issues and problems that they have. And then these simpletons out here that be going ham for like, oh, well, you know, I don't respect y'all if you wear a UA shoe. Do you even know what a UA shoe is? Maybe that'll be part 4. What is a UA shoe? What is it defined as? Because it's been defined by many people. Some of my colleagues, some people that I've watched that gave a dope, clear, precise explanation on what they are. But I'm going to revisit it. We're going to break that down. So we're going to leave that for part 4. But this is part 3. You get what I'm saying? Early release pair, which show that they're in clear violation of showing that they can't be. It's impossible that they're retail pair or pair given to you by a retail outlet or platform or whatever words you want to use. But hey, y'all know who it is, man. It's your boy. I will holler at y'all on part 4. Talk to you. Peace.
Purpose Music. They gotta understand where I come from to know where I'm going. You get me? I don't need no punchlines or similes or metaphors to know that you feeling me. Are you feeling me?